Before we get started in today's video, it is time to announce the turbo giveaway winner. This is, God, we were up, there's maybe like 5 or 6 turbos that I've given away, and I love doing these giveaways. I love giving people the opportunity to have boost. Some people go out there and sell these turbos. Some people put them on their car. Some people decide to build a project because of it, but it's just my little thank you to get you guys some boost in your life. I know I said I was going to have it out earlier this week, but I stockpiled a bunch of videos, so today is Thursday, and I'm going to get this out, and I know you guys might be seeing it might be Monday of the next week, but you guys need to know who the winner is, and the winner of the turbo giveaway is...
I won it? No way.
You didn't win it. You didn't win it. Richard Towns of Trussville, Alabama. AL is Alabama, right?
Yeah.
I don't know my states by letters, but... Richard?
Alaska.
Richard Towns of Trussville, Alabama. Is it AL Alabama? Yeah. Or is it Alaska? You're confusing me now.
It's...
If what? Hey, what? Richard, you won. I'm sure you got an email. I'm sure you got a phone call. Congratulations on winning your turbo. Thank you guys for everyone that participated in the turbo giveaway. The next one's going to be huge. We're giving away 50 chance, so get ready. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video.
Welcome back to another LS Nasty experience.
Alright guys, we are back here in the shop. It is kind of a little parts update video. We're the Slick Rick here. For those of you guys that don't know what this build is, quick little overview. We got the car down in Georgia. Beautiful car, 3rd gen Camaro, double frame rail, floater, strut front end, carbon. Car's been fast with a big block and twins. It's been 380 some. It's just an absolute beast. We switched it over from how it was set up with a conventional headed big block over to a 481X, and Matt did a great job getting that set in there. We have it backed by a Mickey 2-speed 400 with a lockup on there, and it is going to be a badass ride. So we got the turbo in last week or so. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick it up like this. That's where she going. All right. 140 millimeter Hartz turbo T7 flange. This thing is a bad son of a gun. This thing is absolutely massive. The whole car is pretty much built around the turbo kit. You got the motor that's set into place, the header's set into place. The turbo, deciding where it goes, really dictates where everything else is run. So, didn't want to just throw this up there and mount it without having all the pieces here, because building something like this is like playing a game of chess, not checkers. You put one thing in the wrong spot, you got to modify all this other stuff. It becomes very hard to work on at the track. You end up having more of a pain in the ass than a good running race car. So Matt has been really spearheading this build as far as getting all the parts ordered and really doing the whole layout of the build. We got a bunch of really good parts for it, and I think that it's going to be awesome when it comes together. So Matt's going to talk about some of the parts that we got here for it. I'd say we almost have everything here to do the fabrication, hot side and cold side of the turbo kit. Then after that, it's really just like a lot of fit and finish stuff, and then wiring, drive shaft, and plumbing. So
we're going to be doing cool stuff with the plumbing on it, so that'll be a good experience for you guys, kind of show all the trick stuff you can do with that.
So I'm going to grab the camera. Matt's going to talk about what we got for those of you guys that are here to see some action in today's video. Unfortunately not, but this is the work that you have to do before you can have these action-packed videos at the track. So a lot of hours spent in this room building these cars, and a lot of thought goes into them as well.
Yeah, there's a lot more. Like, it's not like we just come out here, throw some parts on, and go racing. It's pretty methodical. Some of the parts that we're using, some of you guys probably have never seen before. We're going to explain how they work, how they help us go faster. All
right, let's get into it.
Let's do it. All right, we got a bunch of parts here. I got some custom stuff, some stuff we bought. The biggest thing with the turbo is getting it mounted, because you really just want to mount your turbo and then build all the stuff around it. The turbo, there's a few things that have to go where they got to go. The engine's pretty much, it's got to go where it's got to go. The turbo, you can move it a little bit, but it's not like you can, you can move it, but we're going to put it right dead in center. It's going to be like a blower car, just right nice and low. And we just got to have to put the turbo where it is and then do the charge pipe. It's easier to move the stuff like the charge pipe and the hot side and everything. You can bend around stuff and do whatever you need to do. So that's what we're going to do. But the biggest thing is getting it mounted. So the hearts, there's not a whole lot of stuff out there for them. I mean, there's not a ton of guys running these turbos. It's not like a regular, like a GT55 frame or anything, so you can't just call it Maven and get a mount or anything. So what we did was I drew up a Mountain Fusion. This is a little secret. If you guys copy this idea, we're gonna know. I'm the first one to do it here. Drew it up in Fusion. I had Parker at Parker Speed. He cut it out for us, got it out, you know, man, what, 2 or 3 days?
Yeah.
So this is our mount. If you guys notice, there's no drain on the bottom. The way this is going to work is it's going to
now
come
the turbo's upside down for everyone that understands this. So this will be the bottom,
Yep.
and it will drain via gravity.
Yep. So just imagine this upside down. So this thing's going to come down here. It's going to bolt on, and then it's going to drain into the tube. So the tube's going to be here. This drain's going to be like this right here. The tube's going to come around, mount in right here, and the tube will be where we scavenge the oil from. So it'll have a bung welded on it and the scavenge pump and everything. Because what happens is when you mount the turbo low, you got your turbo mounted here, and then you got your drain fitting and your line. By the time you get down here, your line and everything's way down here. And I want to try to remove that. That way our scavenge pump doesn't have to be super low and dragging the ground. You know, we don't have to worry about it wheeling and knocking the fitting off of it. It'll bolt in. It's got an Allen head that goes in here. 3/8 MPT plug. Plug it up. Drains. You can flip around either way. That way, if you want to drain to the right or left. So he's going to be making these for Borg Warner, GT55, all the other ones. So you guys that are doing custom turbo setups and you don't want your drain super low, you can do this. And it also helps because the tube acts as somewhat of a reservoir to where, you know, you're not draining just into the line. You know, it can drain into the tube and then scavenge out. That way, when you turn the engine off, some oil is going to be draining through the cartridge, and if you don't have a reservoir, sometimes it can back up into the housing. So this will alleviate those problems. So it's going to be pretty sweet. And the thing's beefy because the turbo's about 90 pounds. So this will work good. It's set up for an 1.25" tube. Let's see what else we got. Blow-off valve. A little bit different. This is a Turbo Smart. It is the PowerPort 60, I believe. 60 millimeter. Massive. It's got a lot of airflow. But if you guys notice, it's got some wires coming out of it. This is a sensor that measures the travel of the piston. So what we're going to do with this is normally you only have the fitting on the top of the blow-off valve, and that's going to, whenever it's got pressure on it, it's going to hold the valve down through the diaphragm, and whenever it's got vacuum, it's going to open it. This one also has some ports on the bottom where you can open it. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to have the blow-off valve mounted here. I'm going to open it when we're spooling it. So what that's going to do is it's going to remove some of the restriction that the turbo is having to face by forcing air into the engine. We're going to try to get our shaft speed way up and measure it via the shaft speed sensor on the turbo. When that thing gets some shaft speed, then we're going to close this with CO2 pressure on the top. And by doing that, you kind of get a run getting the turbo over the hump on the turbo shaft speed. Because once that thing gets to a certain shaft speed, it really takes off. But below that, it's just kind of like it's getting going and going and going. So we're going to try it. Not sure if it's going to work good, but I have a feeling that it'll at least help us somewhat of getting this thing to spool. And it's also good data, like you can tell, like, hey, the blow-off valve might be open a little bit. With this travel sensor here, you'll be able to tell, is it open or is it closed? So we got that. We have a new cap for our Turbo Smart wastegates. These are the Gen 4 ones. They're the older. They now have Gen 5s. They're a little bit smaller, packaged a little bit tighter. These are good gates. I've ran them a ton. The Gen 5 stuff's badass, but we have these. You know, no use in buying new stuff when you already got this. This one, you know, it's got a hole in it, kind of weird. This is going to take a Ford style EGR position sensor. So you put that in there. It has a stem that comes through here and touches the valve, so it can measure the travel of the wastegate valve. So
similar to the blow-off valve concept.
Similar to blow-off valve concept. Not a lot of people do the blow-off valves. There's a lot of the, you know, these guys are really trying to go fast. You know, you can't have too much data, and by doing this, it allows you to tell, is your wastegate opening? How much is it opening? You know, how much CO2 pressure does it take to open it this amount? You know, there's a lot of data that you can get from it. So we're going to be doing that. It's going to help us out. Got some screw-in injectors. So these are billet atomizers, 325s. We might change them out to like some 700s or 900s or something, but they're threaded. So it's got an 8 ORB fitting, or this might be a 6 ORB fitting, and we got an ORB bung, threads in there like that. And what these are going to do is You got your turbo here, your charge pipe's gonna go up. These are gonna go in the charge pipe. Now, if you're doing this, make sure that you do it after the blow off valve, because you don't want to be spraying, 1,400 pounds per hour of fuel into your charge pipe and your blow off valve's up here, because if you let off the throttle and it opens and you got all that methanol in the charge pipe, it's coming out of it. So you always want to spray any kind of methanol in the charge pipe before or after the blow off valve.
Everyone's like, Matt said put it before. Weld the bung in there.
Burn the shit down. So by doing this, so that turbo's, the charge temperature coming out of that thing's probably going to be, anywhere from 350 to 450 degrees when it's really cooking.
All of our methanol cars, non-intercooled.
Non-intercooled. So, methanol, when it evaporates, like if you guys ever mess with it, you pour a little bit out and you put it on your hand and it evaporates, your hand cools off, by just evaporation. So by spraying this in here, when you're spraying methanol into that charge pipe and the charge air pressure is 400, that shit, it evaporates instantly. So what it does is it really drops the intake air temperature, adds a little bit of fuel. There's a whole lot of gains to it. So by doing that, if you're not really running your setup hard, you're not going to see any gains. If you're got your turbo maxed out, you're just leaning on it as hard as you can go, you will see gains with this. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do one here, high lever, two of them. They got a dash 3 or 4 fitting on the top of it. So with that line goes in there. So we're going to have our fuel pump, 30 gallon a minute Waterman, mounts right there, cam driven, got a V-band. So probably off of this one or one of these ports, we're going to do that to a T and then go to our thing. So we got a lot of stuff going in here that's going to be, it's going to be tight. We might end up having to move this fuel pump. Hopefully we'll be able to run it off here just because it's very simple, it's already mounted. But if we got to move it like down here and run it and mount it off the motor plate or the frame, we'll do that just because we can get some more room. So a lot of stuff, a lot of tricky stuff. You guys probably, like I said, if you're not into like real hardcore drag racing, you probably won't see some of this stuff. Some of your hardcore drag racers might not see it anyway.
One thing is, like, you guys have to understand, look at what it is now, and then come back to this video once it's finished.
Yeah, a couple weeks, we've been waiting. Been waiting on the turbo mount, been waiting on the flange, turbo. There's so many things we're waiting on, and now we got it because I've figured out in the past that you can try to build stuff when you don't have all the parts, but 9 times out of 10, you end up putting something somewhere where you're just like, shit, and you just redo it or you work around it and it's just not right. If you have all your stuff, then this is where it's going to go, this is what I'm going to use. You don't have any issues. You build it right the first time and you don't have to redo it down the road or midway through the season or the whole time you're like, man, I love everything about it, but the damn fuel tank sucks. If I would have just moved this over here, so just wait till you got all your parts, do it right, you won't have any problems. One thing that I really want to talk about is this stuff from Tycon and Stainless Bros. Any guys doing hot side fabrication, using stainless parts or titanium parts, if you don't use them, you need to. Their quality is completely unmatched. You get some bends, you get some stainless bends, and I've made a lot of hot sides with just regular stainless bends. But when you start using the elbows and the polished elbows and the quality control on it's real good, it welds phenomenally strong. You have tight radius bends, you have different radius bends. There's just, it blows compared to using a regular you go to Summit and order a 304 stainless bend, this stuff just blows it out of the water. So we ordered a bunch of stuff from Stainless Bros. They hooked us up. We got a 3.5 inch because our hot side is 3.5 inch. The turbo inlet is 3.5 on the flange. The outlet on the V-bands on the headers are 3.5, so 3.5 is what we're going to use. We could have used 4 inch, but packaging in here is going to be pretty tight, but I think 3.5 inch is going to be perfect for us. We're going to have good exhaust velocity, no issues. Everything comes sealed up, bubble wrapped, individually packaged. I mean, look at that. This is nice.
Mm-hmm.
That is good radius. Everything's perfectly. I mean, it's nice. And you guys do any kind of fabrication, you're like, damn, I wish I was welding that instead of some exhaust pipe.
I was using very similar stuff for the 2-inch headers that I made, and that's the only reason why I was able to weld them, is because you know, prep's very important. They pretty much come prepped.
Oh yeah, it's ready to go. I mean, I can take 2 of these pieces out here, and I guarantee you, when I put them together, they're going to be like, it's going to match up absolutely perfect. The thickness, the quality of it, like I said, I did MK Ultra, and I use this and just kind of want to test it out, because we're big, like, I don't want to say, hey, you guys need to buy this and it sucks. Like, I'm going to use it first and try it, and if I like it, I'm going to say, hey, you guys need to use this. I tried it. It welded amazing. No issues. They make it in 304 and 321, so check it out. So, I mean, they got all kinds of different bends. They got 45s, like 15 degree, 180. They have different radiuses, so we got you'll have 1.5. So most of some tubing is measured like a 3-inch bend radius. That means like you put it down, you've got 3-inch bend radius. A lot of this tubing is measured in D. So like this is 1D. So 1D radius is the diameter of the tubing you're using. So 3.5 inch times 1. So you have a 3.5 inch bend radius. It's a big difference. So this is a 1.5D bend radius. So 1.5D is the pipe diameter, tube diameter, times 1.5. So you can see this is going to be good, because some of the stuff you need a tight radius, some of you need a long radius. You know, you can mix and match. Like this is going to be, you guys come over here, this is going to be about perfect for this area. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a flange welded on this end. It's going to go in here like this. It's going to come out through here, turn over there, kind of go in, depending on how our flange is set up. You know, our flange is going to be over here in this area, so it'll be like this. You know, rotate it over, got my strong hand on it, barely hold it. It's just, I think it's going to look sick. So we got
it's definitely gonna look sick.
We got some 45s, we got tight radius 45s, 1D, long radius, loose radius. They call it tight and loose radius. So we got a bunch of different kind of bends. You know, hopefully we can mix and match, get it in there. Hopefully we won't have to do any kind of like weird pie cuts or anything. You know, just weld it straight up. Got some straight tubing from them. Like I said, it's in 304. I wanted to do 321, but I couldn't find a 321 double slip anywhere, and 3.5 inch. Like, they just don't make it. So, you know, if somebody's that makes them, you know, you might have a market. 304 is good. 321 is better, but I've done a ton of 304 and never had any issues. So
just gotta weld it right.
Weld it right. Back purge it. Back purging is key on stainless. Like, you can weld it and it'll look good, but if you cut the weld apart, if it's not back purged, it's not a strong weld. Like, it'll have sugar in on the inside. It's not as strong. So if you're not back purging your stainless, you need to be. You can also use solar flux if you guys can't back purge. I'll show that when we're welding it. We'll kind of go over different methods. Got V-bands. These V-bands, awesome. I already got a couple of them for MK Ultra. It all welds good. You know, you can tell that the machining is good. Like, you get some V-bands, like, they're just not machined correctly. So we got some good V-bands. Quick release. So I always run, stainless bros. I always run the quick release ones. Not because they're faster or anything, but with the quick release ones, you can take all this apart, lose the nuts, and replace this. Because anybody knows with a V-band,
oh, I break those all the time.
It always gets galded, and when it gets galded, it breaks off. You know, you got a $20-$30 V-band every time you're at the track. You're like, shit, does anybody have a V-band? So if
no one has a V-band.
No.
Also,
if you run this style, then all you have to do is you just buy these. They're like $3 for this, and then you can replace it. You don't have to damage the V-band. You can put, and the thing is, like, the 3-inch to 4-inch, they all use this same piece. So you can have 20 of these in the trailer, and you break one on the thing, you just go to your toolbox and grab one of these. So for your race operation, it's not just about the quickness, it's their ease of repairability. Because the worst thing ever is like, hey, we got to take something off, you take the V-band
I
off the
zip
chart.
tied a bullhorn on once.
Yeah, you
Then my door flew off. Unrelated incident, but same principle.
it happens. So you go take your charge pipe off, the V-band breaks, and you're like, well, can't go to the next round because I got a broke V-band. Not anymore with stuff like this. So we got all that. We're gonna be awesome. Be welding that. We got a bunch of stuff from Race Part Solutions.
We use Wade for all of our stuff.
Yeah, Wade. Man, they got all kinds of stuff. Go on their website. You know, call them. They're quick. You know, for us, they're.
I call them up. I say, hey man, I need this stuff. You send it next day. Pow. Next day, got all the stuff.
Yeah, we're in Georgia, so even regular grounds next day for us. So like, you just call them. You know, hey, and it'd be 5 o'clock, and he's like, I'll get it out for you. So awesome to deal with. They always got the stuff.
Why 5-inch, Matt? Why 5-inch? Because we're men around here.
Yeah, we're men.
This is gonna be a man motor, man turbo, man 5-inch exhaust.
Nah, we got the
5-inch intake. 5-inch everything.
Oval mono blade, and it goes to 5-inch. So I was like, man, we're just gonna go to 5-inch. Turbo outlet's 4-inch, so we got some stuff in here. Hopefully, we'll see what they sent with it. They always have good bends. I mean, they have good quality bends. You know,
A lot of extra on it too.
yeah. You know, you don't want to. It always sucks to get a bend and then you got to put like a 1-inch piece in it. I hate doing that. But with these, you got long legs on the bends, very consistent bend radius. Especially, you know, 5-inch stuff's, you know, it's harder to bend, I would say, than like 3-inch. So it's always good quality. Welding, it doesn't have. So you get some of the tubing that's like chrome and shiny and shit. It doesn't weld that great. That stuff's like the mill finish. It doesn't have any kind of oils or anything on it after you clean it out good, and it welds a lot better than some of the other stuff. That's a lot of bends. We got this for the exhaust, you know, charge pipe, 5-inch bend. I wish we had a 3-inch bend to kind of give an idea of how much difference it is. All right, got some aluminum O2 bungs. We're gonna be running 2 O2 sensors, even though it's wide and it's the same thing. We're gonna run 2 O2 sensors for redundancy, so you can go like, oh, this one said, you know, 3.5, and this one said 4.2. Which one is it? We could have a problem, because that's the one downfall to EFI is everything.
Rely heavily on that O2 sensor.
It relies heavily on the O2 sensor. Sometimes if I have a question, you know, if you got a dyno tune and your closed loop trim is at 0, you can always just turn off your O2s, and if the O2 sensor is reading correctly or wrong, you can kind of be like, hey, something's wrong. But it relies heavily on everything. You know, it's just, you know, it's not fail safe. You know, it's not like a carburetor. I mean, the carburetor, yeah, you crank it up and go, and you don't have to worry about a throttle position sensor. But with all the data we have now, everything works together. So we're going to be going over that. I got some fail safes that we're going to put into this to where if we have some issues, we're still going to be able to race, because there's nothing worse than going, well, my drive shaft speed quit working, and that is tied into all this other shit. Now I just can't race the car. So aluminum O2 bungs, 5-inch V-band, that will go to this. I can't get it off.
You guys get it. It's clamps on there. You guys seen a V-band before.
Yeah, I just wanted. He wasn't sure if it fit perfectly.
Yeah, it'll fit. We'll make it fit.
Whiz wheel. Billet 5 to 4-inch reducer. So weld
Just like
on
that. And then hold on. Wait. Hold that. Look at that.
Bam.
Pow. That's what's going to look like off the turbo.
Alpha lock.
Hell yeah.
So
That's gonna be bad.
we might have to do it to where the alpha lock, or do a short 4-inch to where the collar has room to slide.
Yeah, because it needs to. Yeah, you have to like put like an inch of aluminum, 4-inch aluminum there.
Yeah, or maybe if it's large enough to go over that. So we're gonna do that. So we got all the stuff. We're ready to rock and roll.
So it looks like next week, turbo fab time.
Turbo fab. I'm gonna go home for a couple days, and then I'm coming back. We're gonna start.
We're gonna get Slick Rick knocked out. I mean, this thing is gonna be.
Yeah, we ordered a metric ton of wiring stuff, so we're gonna have all kinds of wiring goodies. I'm really excited to wire this car, just because I have a lot of things that I know that nobody's ever seen. I've never seen it before, and I just think it's gonna be really innovative to where some other people are gonna see it, be like, damn.
So, well, we got a bunch of parts here. All we need is a little bit of time and maybe some AC over here.
Yeah,
Maybe that's something we'll work on. We'll just build a tent over where we're working and pump AC into it. Not a bad idea, John. You're pretty smart. I know. Thank you. All right, guys. You guys see here. Slick Rick, we got pretty much everything to get a lot of the stuff done, and you guys have been patiently waiting. It's about that time. We're going to get Slick Rick knocked out, on the ground, fired up. We got to get some wheels and tires ordered for it. I mean, we got to get rock and rolling on it, and we're going to make it happen. So I want to thank you guys for watching, supporting this build. I hope you guys are excited about it, because this thing right here is like, we've already been doing some next level stuff. We're going to go level up.
This is going to be it. This is going to be it.
Yeah, so stick around. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys can learn something. If not, sorry if this video wasn't super exciting. It was a little bit more informational, but we got some exciting videos coming up. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, subscribe. Don't forget to go down and click that bell when you subscribe, and we'll see you guys in tomorrow's upload.
He get to buy this round. John Doc got to buy this round. The black sheep on the property. He got to buy to the next round. 15 here.